Today we are going to discuss about business questions that are to be answered in Tableau, and the learning objectives are, so when user selects a particular month, so in a year, he should be able to see the last 3 months, and I will show you again how to do top and bottom file in a single view, and how to show last day in every month, and I will also show you the spotlighting calculations. So let's start with Tableau. So I'm connecting to sample superstore data source. So I will take order date. So here I'm able to see all the months details. So click on this month and year. So I should be able to see all the months. Okay, so but instead of that, I want to see, I'll also create a date parameter. I'll create a date parameter. And I will select a list and I will add values from the order date. Click on this. So select date here. Then click on this and click on order date. So can see all the dates from the order date. Say okay, and we can define how we can show this. So display as. So display format you can select. So I want to see month and year. So this is the way that I want to represent. Say okay, and use that date parameter. Show parameter, and you can see the dates. Okay, so August 2021, September 2021, all these things you can see. Okay, but I want to, let's say if I select Feb 2022, I should be able to see the last 3 months, Feb, January, and December 2021. So I want to see all these 3 months. Okay, so now that I have created this parameter, but I have not given any connection to this sheet. So I'll create a calculated field and connect this parameter over there. So if date diff, okay, so date diff is a function where it will find the difference between two dates, and we can specify which date part to be considered. So what are the date parts? So we have date parts like month, week, day, year, quarter. So all these are the date parts, and you have to use these date parts in small letters only. Okay, now I want to find the difference between the months. As I want, let's say if I select February 2022, I want to see last 3 months. So I'll try to find out the difference between this parameter and the order date. I'll put month and I'll say order date, comma, date parameter equal to, let's say 1, then true, else, false, end. So this is a date calculation. Say apply. Okay, so now I will tell you the functionality of this one. So I'm saying whenever this date parameter is equals to order date, then say true and else false. So I will use this in the filter. I will select only true. So meaning whenever this order date is equal to the selection, whatever I have selected here, so then it will show the, sorry. So when you say equal to 0, so when the month is exactly same, November minus November, if you do November 21 minus 21, only at that point of time, so this condition will satisfy. And if let's say if I select February 2022, I should be able to see 2020. But the requirement is I want to see the last 3 months. So now let's see, if I put 1, what will I see? The previous month. If I put 2, I will be able to see last second month. So February 22, last 3 months is December 2021. But I want to see February also, and also January and December 2021. So what I need to do is I have to write two conditions, less than or equal to 2, and copy this function again. And make it 0. Say apply. Okay, so this way you can see the last 3 months. So now I have selected February 2022, and I should be able to see the January, December. So starting from February 2022, what are my previous months? So that I can do only based on using parameters. So let's say if I want 4 months, if you add 3 here, so you can see the 4 months. And even if you want the next months as well, so you can add March. From starting from March, if you want to see the next 2-3 months, then you can keep on adding like this. So you can see the next months as well. So based on this selection, your numbers will change. Let's keep it 0 only. So these are the type of requirements that you might get in real time. So user might give you something like if I select October, I want to be able to see last 4 months or last 5 months data. So those are the type of requirements that we get. So to achieve that, we need to follow some workarounds or write some calculations like this. So this is one of the calculation. Okay, now let's move on to the next topic. Yeah, Rakesh. Yeah, sure. Let me increase the resolution. Okay, so date diff, I'm taking order date, and the other one is date parameter. Date parameter. So when you, I will tell you, I will tell you. So let's say if you want to subtract two numbers, let's say 200, if you want to subtract it with 100. So what you will do, you will use subtraction and you'll get output as 100. Okay, in the same way, so to find the difference between two dates. Okay, so we use function called date diff. It will find the difference between two dates. Let's say January 2021 minus February 2021. Month के basis पे you need to subtract. How many months difference is there? What is the 1 month? And I need based on days now. Let's say this is February. Wait, let me complete this. Okay, so now tell me the difference based on days. So this is January 1st and this is February 1st. Now tell me the difference between, sorry, yeah, it is 31 days. Now tell me based on weeks. 4 or 5 weeks. It depends. Okay, so 4 or 5 weeks will be there. So that you are telling based on how I tell you, like if I ask you to do the difference based on month, you are telling 1 month. Based on days, you are telling 31. Based on weeks, you are telling 4 or 5 weeks. So this you are telling based on what type of month or week what I say here. But for Tableau, you need to mention. So how you want to subtract? So here I'm trying to subtract based on month. So that is why, let's say month के basis से करना होगा. So I'm telling Tableau that you need to subtract it based on the month. So you have 2 dates. In 2 dates, if you want to know the difference, what is the difference that you want to know? Month ke basis pe or year, you want to know the year basis, or you want to know the days basis, or what basis you want to find the difference? Numbers is directly you can do difference. 200 minus 100, you will get 100. But date you can't subtract like that. So let's say this is 22. So what is the difference based on years? It is 1 year, 1 point something. Let's say 1.1. Okay, now tell me basis on months. Yeah. So let's do it one by one. I'll just show you in Tableau how we can do that. So I'll take order date and I'll take ship date. Day, make it discrete. Day. So I'm just taking 2 different dates. Okay, so this is one date and this is order date when the order is made. This is the ship date. After the order is made, ship date will be some days later. Okay, so now I will try to find out the difference between these 2 dates. So date diff, I want to do on basis on month, order date, comma ship date. Say apply. Okay, now let's use this date diff. Make it discrete. Okay, so if you try to find out the difference between 3rd January and 7th January, it is 0. It is January and this is January. So if you subtract on basis of month, it is 0. And what will be the difference? Let's see. Okay, so what is the difference between 27th January and 2nd February? 1 month. Sorry? It is 1 month, Prashant. It is actually, so there are multiple records for that particular thing. It is showing you 3, but it is actually the difference between January minus February is 1 month. Now let's see. I will do it based on days. say apply. Okay, so if you try to find out the difference between 27th January and 2nd February. So 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2. So there are 6 days difference. So yeah, so now it is calculating based on days. If I write it as week, say apply. So there is a 1 week difference between these two dates, 27 and 2nd February. And 26th and minimum, I mean you have this 6 days, right? Minimum 1 week le lega. If it is not more than 3 to 4 days, so here you got 0. So if you write year here, say apply. So there is no difference. 2020 minus 2020, you'll get zeros. So there are cases like 29 December 2023 and 2024. So if you subtract it based on years, so you can see there is a difference is 1. Okay, so now let's see our example. So let's go to our calculation. So I'm taking order date and make it as day, make it discrete. I have all the dates, and now I'll select the date parameter. Date parameter, I'll keep it here. And make it discrete. Okay, let me keep it in a calculation field. Edit parameter calc. So I'm just putting that parameter in the calculation so that I can use it here. Make it day. Make it discrete. Okay, so whatever number I have selected here, July 2022, it will show you that particular month. Okay, now let's see. Now let's find out the difference. Date diff. Date diff of month, comma, order date, comma, date parameter. Date parameter. So when I select equal to 0, then true, else false. And month ke basis by I'm mentioning month only, right? Parameter order date. Okay, so say apply. Okay, so now tell me what this calculation meaning. So date diff, I'm saying order date is equals to date parameter, then only it says true. So on what basis? So can you tell me the definition of this calculation? On basis of month. I have also written equal to 0. What does that mean? Okay, so when these two are equal, so then that means, let's say, if I take an example, so only in one situation, let's say if, the date parameter is selected as July 2022. So when this order date is also equal to July 2022, then only this condition will satisfy. So if it becomes July 2022 and date parameters are anyways July 2022. So when these two things are matching, then it will be 0. So say apply and use this date diff. So July 2022. Yeah, here it is. So whenever this order date is July 2022, then only this is saying it as true. But what I want is, I want to see, let's say if I select July, I want June and May also to be enabled. Okay, so if I want, let's say June, so what should I do? If I put 1, if the difference between these two dates is 1, then it becomes, so I will get the previous month. So July minus June, then only I will get the this previous month. So the subtraction, if I do, if it is 1, then only I'm able to see the previous month. So if I want the last second month, so if I select July, I want to see May, then you can mention 2. So you will get true for this one, for May. If you select May, the past 2 months you will get selected. Yeah, correct. Yeah, Prashant. That's what. So they will give you, let's say, if they select, let's say this month. Uh, so when 1 month is getting selected, they should be able to see the last 2 or 3 months data. So this is one business scenario only I have taken. So if your user select the September 2021, so they also not only want to see the current month details, let's say sales. So instead of knowing not only this current month details, whatever a user selected, also you wanted to see the previous 2 months details also. Okay, usually we will have filters, the normal filters, whatever you have. Okay, so there are some filters that we have. With those filters, we will not be able to see all the details. So these filters are limited. So I'll just put order date in filters. Okay, here you will have the capabilities to select the range. So if you want to see 2021 to 2022, so you can drag like this and say apply. So user will be able to see the range of data that you have selected. And apart from that, have we not discussed this date filters? Okay. Okay, so usually these filters are where we can select the ranges. So this is for ranges selection, and this is for the relative dates. So let's do this. Where? Yeah, here also you can select last 3 months. So filter. But here user will need to see all these things. Last 3 months, if you select, okay, here also they can see. Every time it will show you last 3 months only. Here you will not have the capability to select the, let's say, here I can change the selection. So here I can change the selection to January 2022. From there, it will go back and see the last 2 months. But here you can't see the last. So we have data till June 2023. So from the last 3 months, it is just showing you. So you have the data till June 2023. So it will show you the last 3 months itself. So it will not show you beyond that. You will not have the capability to select the months. Let's say if I want to select April 2023, from there I want to see the last 3 months. So that is not possible in normal filters. So that is, I mean, so you will get requirements which are not inbuilt in Tableau. So there are some requirements. So if they ask you to keep some filters, and let's say they might tell you to give month and quarter selection. Show filter. The month and year. Say all okay. So this is also one way of showing the filters. So where you can select, where user can select whatever months he want to see. Manually he can select. You don't need to specify that. So this is these are normal filters that you can use. So let's go one by one. So I will tell you about all these options. So relative to is mainly, so if you want to see the last 3 days information, so let's just apply. Say okay. Let's make it as day. And edit filter. Okay, so last 3 days. So starting from 13, you should be able to see 13, 12, and 11. But there are no dates. There is no data for this particular thing. So it is not showing the other dates. Let's check weeks. Say apply. Okay, so this is showing you the current week. Current week. So when I have selected this week, it is showing you the current week. So let's say if I want last 3 weeks data. Okay, so now it will show you 7 into 3, 21 days of information. In the same way, if you say last 3 days, you should be able to see the last 3 days information. So likewise, we can see last 3 months data. So we started in June. So June, July, April, all those details you are able to see. And click on quarters. So last 3 quarters you can see. If you click on years, so you should be able to see 2023, 2022, and 2021. And this is the parameter that I have used where I'm able to select whichever month I selected here. So user should be able to see the last 3 months data. So that is what is the requirement here. So user should be able to see. So this is the data that is available in the Superstore. Starting from January 2022, February 2023, the data is available. So if the user is selecting any month from that particular data, so in the middle of the years, if I select any month, from there I'm able to see the last previous month's information. Is it clear? Yeah, Rakib. Yes, relative to year, related to quarter, months. So past 3 days, if you want to see. So these are the options which you have. So if you want to see the next year data, next, yeah. So let me just show you. So this is the data that is there. Okay, so let's take order date and say relative date. When I say today, say apply. So it will show you today's date. Right? When I say tomorrow, it will show you tomorrow's date. So there is no data for tomorrow, that is not showing. So let's say yesterday. It is showing you the yesterday's date. So it will compare with today basically. So when I say week, when this week meaning the present week which we are in. So starting from 11th June is what? Saturday. Sunday. So starting from Sunday to Saturday. So this is this week. So when I say next week and say apply. So next week is what? Next Sunday to Saturday. So it starts in 18. When you say previous week, last Sunday, 4th June to yeah, 4th June to 10th June. So when you say last 3 weeks, so we'll have current week, which is 11th to 17th, and there's this is last week, and this is last to last week. So you can see the last 3 weeks in term. And when you select next 3 weeks, so we'll have the current week also, and next week is starting from 18, and next to next week is starting from 25 to 1st. So this is related. So it will compare with today basically. So when you say this week, it will be starting from Sunday to Saturday. And month also, when you say this month, what is this month? June month. So say apply, you can see June data, complete June data. When you say previous month, you will be able to see the previous month is May. So it will every time it will compare with today. Today, what week, what month, what year, on what quarter, on basis on that one. And yeah, right. Tomorrow, say apply. Tomorrow is also there. 1 second. Tomorrow is not, I mean, that particular date is not there in the, so 13th to 14th June 2023, there is no entry. 14th June 2020, there is no entry. That is why it's not showing. If there is no data, it will not show you. Let's say if you say yesterday there is a date, 12th June. There is an entry made in Superstore. So for 14th June, there is no entry. That is why it is not showing anything. Yeah. So on basis on years also, you can say next year. So for next year, there is no data. We have data only till 2023. So when I say next year and say apply, I'm not seeing anything. And click on this year and say apply. So we have data for this year. And what is previous year? Say apply. So you can see 2022 data. The same way for quarters as well. So which quarter is this? This is second quarter. So second quarter starts from April to June. And when I say previous quarter, what is previous quarter? When it starts and when it ends? Yeah, January to March. So January you have, and see till March it is there. And yes. The previous year is what? 2022. Yeah. So likewise, we can apply related dates. And range of dates, you can select which on which range you want. You can specify that starting from 10/10/2022, 1/3/2022, like that you can select. And here you can restrict the end value, and you can only control the starting value. Okay, so this is this will be fixed to whatever data is available. We have data till 30/12/2023, so that will be fixed to the end value, and you can control. So user can control only this one, and we can keep the starting value as fixed, and the ending value we can change it. Say apply. So it starts from 3/1/2020, 2020, and end value we can control. So 8th August I said, so I can control that. So till that value it will show you. And we also have special values, all dates, and yep. Yeah, yeah, correct. We have data till 30 December 2023. So there are entries for that. Okay, so that is about relative dates. So where you can select the first month, the current month, the current week, yesterday, tomorrow, and last 3 days, next 3 days. All those things you can do it for years, quarters, months, weeks. Okay. And now let's see. Put order date here. Okay, now if you want to select only years. So if years you want to select, just set years in show filter, and user can select whichever years you want to select. And say quarter. Okay. Show filter. So if you say Q1, all the years of Q1. So January, what is Q1? Prashant? Yeah, yeah, January, February, March. So in all the years, you will be able to see January, February, March. So 2021, 2022, 2023, in all the years, you are able to see January, February, March. And when I select Q2, so it will be April, May, June. So in all the years, it will filter on April, May, June. So these are the types of filters that you can use. So if you have date in date format, so many options that are there we can use. So now that we have completed quarter, yeah, Rakib. Yeah. In all the years, it is showing in the first quarter only. And months you can select, say all, say okay, show filter. And when I select January of all the years, January 2021, January 2022, 2023, of all the years, January, February of all the years. And that is months. So now let's see days. Say okay. So filter. So when I select days, whenever there is a first day in all the years, all the months. So in February 2020, there is one, first date. So it is there and it is selecting all the days. Let's say if I select second day, in all the months, in all the years, whenever there is a second date. So if there is a day with two, yeah. So if it has an entry for second day, so it will fetch that details. So in that way, you can select days as well. And now let's see week numbers. So how many weeks in a year? How many weeks? Yeah. So 52 or 53 depends. Okay, so let's say if I want to see only week one of all the years, so just select week one. So in week 1, whatever entries are there, you will be able to see those entries. Let's select somewhere in the middle, week 7. So week 7 of all the years. So when there are entries for week 7, so 11th, so what is week 7? So week 7 will be somewhere in the February. So February 20, 11th to 15th is what is week 7. And 2021, 7th to, I mean, those are the entries which are available. So basically it will be Sunday to Saturday. Sunday to Saturday will be your, so let's take February 2023, 17, 18. So Sunday to Saturday. So this is your 12th to 18th is your 7th week in 2023. But you are able to see, okay, here also you are able to see entries from 13 to 18. Maybe there are no entries in 12, 13, 14. So that is why you are able to see from 13. Usually it has to show from starting from 12th. So that is the reason. So that way you can filter on week 7 and whatever weeks. So in all those years, in all those months, wherever it belongs to, it will filter on the week 7. And now let's select. Okay, so we had selected week numbers. Now let's select Sunday, Monday, Saturday. So all those days, even days we can select. Show filter. So let's say Sunday. So on Sunday, what is the flow of coming to the superstore? So that also you can see. So on Sunday, these many purchases happen. And Monday, these many purchases happen. So like this, you can calculate on which day there is more sales and all. We can do it based on the weekday selection. So here you can select the days as well. So now let's see month and year. So it is already mentioned month and year also you can select. So show filter. So this is manual where you can select whichever month that you want to see. Okay, so all those months, all dates will be shown. And now let's select already. Yeah. Mhm. Which one? This one. This one. Uh-huh. Hmm. Hmm. It is showing 1st July. Uh-huh. It is showing 1st July. I mean, by default, it is taking first. So this doesn't have the information of days, right? I just mentioned September, January. So when there is nothing, so it will automatically take the first one. Even if I don't give, let's say, if I am not giving the entry of month, so it will take 2020 January. So it by default, it is taking that. So as I have not made the entry for days, so it is taking the first as the by default. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I'll show you. So date diff, let's make it 0. So what does that mean? So when this is equal to 0 meaning, so when these two are equal, then only it will become 0, right? So let's say June 2020, June 2020, when months are equal, When I'm subtracting, then it becomes 0. So, okay, so let's take here I have selected September 2020. So this parameter is September 2020. So when this is equal, so order date, I have so many dates. Say apply. The order date, I have so many dates, but whenever this is becoming September 2020, so then only I will get, then only it will be true. So when only this condition will satisfy. Okay, so if I want last 3 months to be selected, so I want here also true, here also true. Okay, so in what all cases I will get here as true. So if I write 1, say apply. So here September 2020, September 2020 minus August 2020 will become 1. So that is the reason you are getting true here. So let's say if I want July, say apply. Okay, July. So now it is the subtraction of September minus July will give you 2. So which is this, whenever this September minus July is giving you 2. So this condition is satisfying. That's why you are getting true here. Okay, so I want all the 3. So what should I write? I should write less than or equal to 2 and greater than or equal to 0. So I will get the between values. This remember this greater than you need to keep before equal to symbol, then only it will be valid. Otherwise it will throw error. Okay, so yeah. No, I want these 2 conditions to be satisfied. That's and is compulsory. No, you will get minus 1 also, right? So you are not controlling it. So you see, true for everything. But I want September 2020 and previous values to be true, not the next values. So I am restricting to 0. Otherwise it will go minus. If you control this, you see this. So it is true only to 3 months. Okay, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2. Let's say if you are making it 1, minus 1. So it will make the next one also true. November also it will make it as true. Which I don't want, right? I want to restrict only till 0. Yeah. Any questions? Prashant or Divya? Okay. Okay, so that is how we will get the requirements. So this is one ad hoc requirement where you can prepare this parameter and do this. So that's about dates, and yeah, where you can select month and date filters. And now let's take order date and month, day, year. Select from all. Say okay. Here you can select the combination of day, month, and year. Okay, whichever day, month you can select like this. This is one. And individual dates. So these are the exact dates that are there in the database. So filter. So these are the exact dates. So you can select manually whichever day that you want to see. You can select like this. I'm just control selecting all these things and just clicking on the space symbol. Okay, so that's how I can create this date. Okay, so any questions in date filter? So you can use all this type of filters that are there, and these are not required as much. So this is just taking the count of the days. So it will just find out how many count is there and which one you want to filter on. So we don't use it much. Mostly we'll use these options: so relative dates, range of dates, years and quarters. So whichever way the user want to filter on. So depending on that, we can do. And if something is not feasible, if some requirements are not feasible, so then you might end up creating calculation fields and parameters. Okay, so now let's see how to show last day in all months. So let's see. So you have order date and say days. Mark it as discrete. And put order date again and make it as month. Make it as month and make it as discrete. Okay, so in a month, I have so many dates. Okay, let's take an example of February 2020. Starting from 1st February, I have data till 27th February. But what I want to see is, I want to see the maximum date. Every time I want to see the maximum date. How can I do that? By using LOD calculation. Fixed order date. Let me just copy this. So I'm just taking the include month of order date. I want to fix it based on the month of order date, or include month of order date and select the max of order date. Say apply. LOD on month of order date. Say apply and OK. I'll create a new sheet. Order date, month, discrete. And now I'll select LOD of month of order date. Okay, so now it is showing me the maximum day in that particular month. So 31st January 2020 is the maximum day in that month. So that's how we can visualize the maximum day in each and every month. No. So let's say January 2020 is there. So what is the maximum day in this? So you have so many days, starting from 3rd January to 28th January, 31st January. So what is the maximum day? In February, 27. I mean, in 2020, there are only 27. So that is what it will show. So 27, it is showing you that. So in February 2023, you have 28 days. So you can see that by using LOD calculations. And we have already discussed about top and bottom 5. So can anyone tell me how to create top and bottom 5 in a single sheet? Tell me step by step by step. Rakib? Anyone, Prashant or Divya? Okay, so right click on customer name, create set, and go to top by field. Yeah, enter top 5. Based on sum of sales, so you have to select. So automatically it will show you whenever you have sum of sales in your data. So it will come automatically. If it is not coming automatically, you need to select manually. So this is for top 5. So you're able to see top 5. And again, I will create for bottom 5. Create set. Bottom option I need to select sum of sales. Yeah, say okay. So this will give me bottom 5. Say okay and use this one in the filter. You can see top and bottom together. And here you can use a parameter. Create a new parameter, enter value, say okay, say okay. And in the other one also you can edit set and use the created one, enter value, say okay, show parameter, and click on type in. So here you can enter how many number of top values that you can select. So this is how we can create top and bottom 5 or top and bottom n. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic. Okay, spotlighting calculations. So now let's see how we can write spotlighting calculations. So let's take the same example where he has taken segment and subcategory and sum of sales. Segment, subcategory, and sales. So I will write a calculation if sum of sales greater than 100,000, then good, else bad. And spotlighting calculation is something where it will highlight the ones which are based on the condition. I want to highlight this thing, whichever is having more than $100,000. So you can put it in the color. Okay, so the ones which are more than $100,000 are getting highlighted. So it is getting spotlighted. Spotlighting calc. And here you can specify a parameter as well. So create a parameter and give it as integer or float is fine. Say okay. Say okay. Enter value. Enter sum of sales. Okay, in spotlighting calc, what I will do is instead of this manual entry 100,000, I will put that enter sum of sales parameter here. Say okay and use this parameter. Okay, let's say 100,000 only. Okay, now it is highlighting 100,000. Let's say if I enter 50,000, so whichever is more than 50,000, those will be highlighted. Less than 50,000 will be in blue color, like this. So that you can control with parameter as well. Okay, so now let's say there is one calculation. So there are some KPIs or there are some definitions that users give. So they will ask you to create profit margin. So how to find out margin? So they will give you KPI name. So KPI is nothing but key performance indicator. And they will ask you to create a KPI, and they will give you KPI definition as well. The meaning, they will tell you how to write the calculation for that margin. So the current calculation, sum of profit divided by sales. So this calculation, they will only give you how to write the calculation, and sales should not be equal to 0. Sales should not be equal to 0. Okay, for this we need to write a calculation. So this is one requirement that you will get. So key performance indicator is nothing but which decides the business performance. Let's say if you take sales or profit, if your sales is increasing, that means you are profiting, or your business is performing well and good. If your sales is decreasing, that means your products are not getting purchased. Your products are in your godam, and those are not getting purchased by the customers. So your sales is very low. So that with that, what you can decide, your business is performing low. So those are the KPIs. So in this particular example, margin is one of the KPI. So where it will decide the business performance. So this is the definition of it. So now let's see how we can create this calculation. So this is the requirement that I got from the user to create a KPI, and the calculation is sum of profit divided by sum of sales, and sales should not be equal to 0. So now let's see if sum of sales not equal to 0, then sum of profit divided by sum of sales n. So this is what is margin. So now I will use this KPI depending upon my requirement. So I can use different columns, different dimensional columns. And instead of showing this way, I can show the percentage. This is actually the percentage. Go to paid, click on percentage. So now I have created a KPI, and now I can use dimensions to create any visualizations. So this is the margin performance across region. And if I want to show it based on the states, so let me duplicate this one. So I'll just double click on state, and I can see how this is performing across states. For states, I will create a map chart. Okay, and I'll also put this in the color master. Okay, once the KPI is defined, then you can start building the charts. So whichever chart that you want to create. So then later, once the KPI is ready, so I have made this particular small KPI by using this definition. So they will give you definition like you have to divide it with sum of profit with sum of sales, and sales should not be equal to 0. So this is the conditions they will give you, and you have to create that particular KPI and make use of those KPIs based on the dimensions that are available. And they will also tell you which dimensions to be used. So if they give you some geolocation, then you can create some map charts. And if you have some, let's say, some product details, or let's say subcategories, so where you can't create map charts, in this scenario, you can create bar charts and all. So that's how we'll get the requirements, and that's how we need to prepare the KPIs based on the requirement. Yeah, so with that, we have completed some business scenarios, and we have discussed about the date filters and all. Any questions? Yeah. Any measure which decides the performance of the business, that is called as KPI. So if you take sales also, right? Sales. So I'll take region. In which region my sales is more? In which region my sales is more? In west region. So how am I deciding that? It is based on sales. So sales is my deciding factor. So that will become a KPI. So anything which decides your business performance, that will be called as a KPI, key performance indicator. So in the name only it is mentioned key performance indicator. So it will tell you the performance of your business. So any measure, so which decides your, there are some measures which you are not using. Most of the measures, so discount also. So there are some KPIs which are lower the better, and some KPIs higher the better. You can say measures are nothing but KPIs. Measures are nothing but KPIs. But you will not use all the measures. So let's say we have these many measures: discount is there, profit is there, quantity is there, sales is there. But mostly we are using sales. Mostly we are using sales and profit. But so we can say in our case, it is sales and profit, both are the KPIs. But we have other measures also. If you are using those measures also into your charts, then those will also become KPIs. And now I will tell you some lower the better and higher the better KPIs. So tell me whether sales is higher the better or lower the better. So if you get more sales, is it higher the better or lower the better? Okay, correct. Let's say rank. Okay, I'm giving ranking to the, let's say, movies. Okay, I'm giving ranking to the movies. So is it higher the better? Yeah, this is lower the better. And yeah, so one is better, right? Yeah. And I will also give you one more example, cost. And I will explain you about cost. So let's say I have a superstore and I have sold a mobile phone, okay, to the customer. So once I gave that mobile to the customer, so I will also give him warranty or guarantee. Okay, if there is some damage that happens to the mobile within 1 year, so I will repair it or I will fix it. If it is not getting fixed, I will exchange with another mobile. So that will be cost to the company, right? So that is the extra burden. Okay, so I'm also calculating that cost. So let's say if I'm selling some 100 mobiles, in those 100 mobiles, some 90 mobiles, there is no problem. And for there are 10 mobiles which has problems, and I have put some cost on it. I had spent some money on it. Let's say I had spent some $100. Is it good money or like bad money, or is it higher the better or lower the better? If I'm spending money on the products that are already been sold, so is it good or bad? No, it should be lesser, the lower the better. Why? Because I should not spend the money on it. It's already sold. I got my profit and all. If I'm spending money on it, that has to be low. That means I should not get any complaints. I should be taking care of the products in such a way that I should not get any complaints. So I have to have as low as possible. So if I have to if I'm providing warranty or guarantee, I have to replace it with another product, or I have to do some manual effort which will cost me. So I have to try to reduce that cost. So cost is something, this is also called as a KPI, but this is lower the better KPI. Why? Because I should try to reduce the cost on the company. Yeah. So that is about KPI. Any questions or is it clear? Yeah, Prashant. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, sure. O- Okay, what I will do is, so this is our 24th session, right? So after completing all the 30 sessions, so I will take 5 to 7 days. I will take some extra classes. So in that we will cover these type of questions, the calculation related. So I will take 7 more sessions. So in that I will cover any of, if you have any of questions, so we'll cover there. Okay. Okay then. Thank you all for joining. We'll continue tomorrow.